What up? What up? Welcome to Sunday's version of the Leadership Series. It is Sunday. I'm catching up Saturday, January 12th, and Sunday, January 14th. And, we're going to break it down into two lessons today. I'm here in the lab, got everything rolling. Good, solid weekend. The store is rolling. We're getting geared up for Florida PGF. Both companies are doing well. Family is enjoying some weekend time off. So we are just going to get into it. January 13th, it says, control what's in you. Remember, I'm doing a every day, all year series of the John C. Maxwell Daily Reader, breaking down just 1 to 2 pages a day. Today, we are going to do 2. We're going to do the lesson on January 13th, control what's in you. And then January 14th, leaders see the larger context. So I'm going to speak, I'm going to read, I'm going to do all of that. This is a challenge for me over the next year that I'm doing to stay consistent, to put out some leadership information, but more importantly, to challenge myself to be able to read, take my notes, and then discuss, right? Some of them will be pre-recorded like this one. Some of them will be live. But either way, they will be informative. So if you get something out of it, give it a like, give it a share, go to our YouTube page and subscribe. You never know who might need this information. So getting into it, control what's in you. It says, former UCL basketball coach John Wooden, one of the greatest coaches who ever lived, said, do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do, right? Think about it. How many times have you said, this is my strength, and I want to work on that and make it stronger? People typically work on their weaknesses. What am I not good at? What can I build up to make better? But very rarely do people say, okay, it's one of my goals over the next 30 days to make my strength stronger. So what are you doing to work on that? Do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can. If you build on your strengths, how much stronger can they get, right? Because, if all we did was work on our weaknesses, then our strengths would eventually become our weaknesses because we're not sharpening that sword. We're not taking the time to develop the things that we're good at because we're already comfortable there. We already think that we have it under control, that there's little room for improvement needed in that zone. It goes on to say his work ethic and focus on the things within his control earned his UCLA teams 4 undefeated seasons, 88 game-winning streak, and an incredible 10 national championships. No one had ever done that before, and no one had ever done that after. So, this guy had said, hey, we're going to focus on our strengths. What do we do right? Are we a good passing team? Are we a good shooting team? Are we a good rebounding team? Maybe we're good at all of that, which is why they won the championships. But he didn't say, hey, we're terrible passers. All we're going to work on is passing. Hey, we're terrible shooters. All we're going to work on is shooting. He decided to work within their strengths and build up that confidence on things that they already do well. So think about that. On the business side, that's placing the people that have good strengths. Maybe somebody, I'm going to use my restaurant. Maybe somebody's good at grill. Maybe somebody's good at speaking and register. Maybe somebody's good at multitasking and leading. On the softball side, as a coach, you have 10, 12, 14, 16, 20 players on your team. Are you positioning them in their best spot to make the team the strongest, right? Are you putting the kids in their best spot to thrive? Are they really fast? Have you considered, where they're at in the lineup? Where do they got on the field? Maybe their arm across the diamond is very good. So your job is to find those players and put them in the position that they excel at, right? To put your strongest kids in the strongest positions while continuing to work on and developing their weakness. But when we build a lineup, we don't go, okay, little Susie's weak, in this, so I'm going to put her in lineup. No, we say, where are their strengths and how do we work on their weaknesses? So as you move forward on the success journey, you need to remember that what happens in you is more important than what happens to you. For me, the changes that have been occurring for me as an individual from just 4 years ago, these are the things that are happening in me. Inwardly, I'm wanting to learn how to be less reactive. I'm wanting to learn how to be a better leader, how to be more accountable, how to be better for my wife, my kids. All of those things are happening inside as I read leadership books, as I talk about leading, as I talk about these things and I read these things and I write these things in order to make myself more accountable. I'm able to absorb that and I'm able to understand that and identify it. And, when I say I want to be less reactive, or when I become reactive, I'm identifying it quicker so I can throttle back from it easier. I say I want to be a father as my kids do crazy stuff, right? Like my son's, every once in a while he does these wacky, crazy things. And, I have to learn to not be reactive. And today you want to be a better father, build those relationships. So as you hold yourself accountable to a process and you read more and you write more and you talk more and you learn more, you can't help but grow inwardly if that's what you're really focused on. So what happens to you? What happens inwardly is more important than what happens to you. You can control your attitudes as you travel on your journey, but you have no control over the actions of others. Isn't that true? We say, I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then all of a sudden, life gets in the way. Somebody treats you bad. Somebody disses you. Somebody leaves you. Somebody tries to hold you down. Crabs in a bucket, right? So as these things happen, as you try to excel, you can only control your attitude. I don't want to be reactive. Somebody does something. I can't control that somebody did something, but I can control my reaction to it. Although that may be hard, especially in the moment, it's what I have to be focused on in order to make that happen. You can choose what you put on your calendar, but you can't control today's circumstances. Man, another important fact. I can plan my week out day to day, hour to hour. You'll hear me say 168 hours in a week, right? I can plan those out hour to hour, minute to minute, and this is what's going to happen, and this is what I'm going to do. But I can't control what happens. If something emergency arises, I may have to shift plans. As something changes, I may have to shift plans. So how you react to that and how you adjust to those things, those are going to determine how you control what's inside you, what comes outwardly. And those things, if you're angry, get yourself to anger management. If you're unorganized, get yourself a day planner. If you're wanting to learn something, get in school, get on YouTube, find a mentor, control what you bring inside. And unfortunately, a majority of fear and stress that people experience in life is from things they can do nothing about. How true is that, man? How often do we sit there and is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? What's going to happen here? How's this going to happen? Is this go down? I can just bring up countless times, right? Let's talk about opening the store. The day that I opened the store, I had this plan of all of these things that was going to happen. And at the end of the day, guess what? I was on the grill for 12 hours. That's it. On the day that my store opened, I didn't really greet any customers. I was on the grill. Things happen. Things change. The plan that you have does not always necessarily happen. Focus on the things you can do something about today, right? So many things are going to arise that you just absolutely have zero control over. Not going to be able to do anything about it, right? The kids are going to get sick. The wife's going to need this. This client's going to cancel. This opportunity's going to come up. You're going to need to go to this appointment, pulled in that direction. So as you move forward on the success journey, you need to remember that what happens in you is more important than what happens to you. You can choose what you put on your calendar, but you can't control today's circumstances. So as life happens, as you find yourself starting to rise, as you find yourself starting to level up, as you find yourself coming through this journey of self-improvement, of leadership, of building teams, things are going to happen. People are going to look at you as the leader for resources, for direction, and you're going to have to rely on your training, your information, your attitude, your level up, and you have to control what's inside you. You can't control outside circumstances. You control how you act, how you react, how you move forward, and what you do in that situation. And from that, you gain experience. And from that experience, you become a better leader, mentor, father, mother, brother, sister. It all happens from being engaged in doing the things that you're working on. Finally, it says, focus on the things you can do something about today, not the things that you cannot. So, January 14th, leaders see within the larger context of things, right? Leaders are able to anticipate what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow, what's happening next month, next year, what's the long-term plan. They're able to see things within a larger context. So January 14th today is about leaders seeing the larger context. It says, what positive improvements can you make today based on your understanding of how you fit within your area, your organization, your market, and your industry? Because as leaders, as owners, as coaches, it doesn't matter what your level is. I want to be clear on this, what I'm talking about right now. It doesn't matter. Leadership is leadership. Whether you're a coach of a softball team, whether you're an organizational leader in your business, whether you're an owner of the business, everything I'm saying applies the same way. You just have to take it into your context. Most people evaluate their lives according to how they will be personally affected. Leaders think within a broader context. They start by asking themselves, how will this impact my people? I mean, that's the difference. That's the difference between a worker and somebody who is only caring about themselves, or a self-consumed person. How is this going to affect me? What happens to me if this doesn't go through? What happens if it's successful? How do I benefit? What happens to me if it's not successful? Leaders, organizational leaders, coaches, owners, they think the opposite way. How is this going to affect my team? If I do this, how does it affect my team? If I do this, how does it affect my family? If I make this move, how does it affect my organization? How does it affect me? How does it affect my team? How does it affect everybody that I'm leading and in charge of? How does it affect the organization, the business? It goes on to say, how will this impact my people? But then they look at how something will impact those above and beside them. They try to see everything in terms of the entire organization and beyond. And that happens every day in a leadership position. You know, I can tell you, if I bring a person on, it affects everybody, not only in the store, but in the organization. If I add a new tournament, if I change a format, if I move to a new area location, you know, all of these things are going to affect the people, the brand, the building, the culture, the atmosphere, and all of those things that are important to running a prime show business. Effective leaders know how to answer the following questions. How do I fit in my area or department? Okay, how do I fit? What is my role? This can be part of the storming phase. What is my role? What do I need to know in order to be successful here? How do all the departments fit into the organization? Think about that, right? Now, if you're on a small scale company, let's use Florida PGF, right? There's camps, there's clinics, combines, there's tournaments, there's all of the things needed. There's A level, B level, there's all kinds of organizational stuff. So how does each one of those branches fit into the organization? Let's use Capital Tacos. You have ownership, then you have corporate stores, then you have franchise stores, right? How does each one of those fit within the organization? Where does our organization fit in the market? So for softball, where does Florida PGF fit in the softball market, not only in the Southeast, but across the country? How do we compete in Florida? Who are our competitors? Who are our brand partners? Who are our vendors? Who are the people that, you know, we can work within and around? Who are the people that we're straight working against and going after? Who's coming after us? On the taco side, where does our organization fit into the market? Where is our competition? Who is our competition? What is our marketing plan? How do we get out ahead of the competition? Where I'm at in my store right now, right across the street, there's another taco restaurant. Right across the street on the other direction, there's another taco restaurant. 2 miles down the road, there's several other QSR, Tex-Mex, and taco establishments, and there's several other sit-down stores. A mile and a half the other way, there's a strong competitor. So, we're literally surrounded by competition on all sides on both companies. That's just, it's a saturated market wherever you are. Think about softball. I hear every day, oh my God, there's too many teams. The market is just saturated. There's just too many. I never really understood it. We say grow the game. There's too many teams. We say, let everybody have an understanding, a spot for every girl. Well, there's just too many teams. Every dad whose daughter doesn't make the team, he just goes and starts another team. So what? That means 12 to 14 more girls get to play the game. Stop it. Right? How does it fit into the organization? How does organization fit into the market? How is our market related to other industries and the economy? So within our organization, the market that we're in, how does it fit within the economy? It is a whole chain of command. How do I fit in this building and department? How does the department fit into the organization? How does the organization fit into the market? And then how does the market relate to other industries and the economy? So that's what you want to look at. How do I fit into my area or department? So for me, right, I'm the overall owner, organizational leader. How do I fit into that, right? It's my charge to grow the company, build the company, manage the company, maintain the company, be accountable for the company, advertise it. On the softball side, I have to build the tournaments. I have to get into the area, make the contracts, get the insurance, buy the award, do all of these different things. On the taco side, I have to hire the people, get the equipment, get the lease, make the schedule, buy the food, get the paper, organize it all, do the training, put it out. Bruh. So you have to be able to see short-range targets and long-range plans, right? Organizational leaders, owners, coaches of teams have to be able to see what is the immediate goal today, right? Maybe you're a softball coach. You've got 9 players. The immediate goal is I need 2 more kids on the roster so that I could show up to a tournament, right? If you're Florida PGF, what is the immediate goal? We had a national qualifier this weekend. What's going on in the month of January? What's our 60-day plan? Do we have everything lined up for May, June, July? It's right now. We just released the Show Me the Money list. So now we've got to work on that and get everything done on the back end of that to make sure it's ready. On the taco side, got to be able to make sure we're handling the orders day to day. But what is our marketing plan? How do we open it up? How can we be different? How are we different from the guys down the street? How am I standing my building out from the 50 other competitors that are around? What is the long-range plan? Quarterly marketing plans, semi-annually marketing plans, yearly marketing plans, LTOs, limited time offers. How are we changing things? I just got outdoor seating. We're getting ready to start a Friday and Saturday late night menu. We're going to be opening to breakfast, in a few weeks. How are you continually staying fresh and looking at the larger context of things? If I do this, how is it going to affect people? If I add more tournaments, how does it affect my UIC? If I add more tacos or, take away certain things, how does that affect my staff? Adding late night. Now we've got to get somebody to work, 2 more people to work 6 more hours a week. How does that affect labor and long-term range of plans? All of these different things that you have to think about as an organizational leader and stay fresh and stay ahead of the game. As a softball coach, how am I recruiting, and staying my team where it needs to be? How am I meeting, if I'm at the recruitable age, how am I meeting new college coaches, getting my team names out there? Am I in the right tournaments? And if I'm in that tournament, am I on the right fields? Am I in the right location? Did they put me 45 minutes on the backfields and now I'm just here hanging out, supporting somebody? So all of these different long-term plans, short-term goals, long-range plans that you have to get squared away. You don't have to become a global economist to lead effectively from the middle of your organization. The point is that 360-degree leaders see their area as part of a larger process and understand how the pieces of the larger puzzle fit together. So how are you working with your organizational leaders? How are you working with if you're a coach, how are you working with your other coaches, your parents, and your players to make sure that your culture, your team has a short-term, long-term effective plan? What are we doing within the next 90 days? What are we doing over the next year in order to make sure that these kids are developing, put in the right places, we've got good relationships, and we're leveling everybody up? If you're a business owner, what is my immediate target? What are we doing today? Am I increasing the bottom line? Am I doing training? Am I holding people accountable? Are we having a growth and scale process? Are we having a marketing and process that we put all of our funds, and where is our quarterly goals, and what are our, we're working on upselling things right now. So what is our long-term goal and target? Sit down with your team. Create a plan. Where do we want to be in 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, and then 365 days? And mark those targets and hold yourself accountable and continue to hold meetings and accountability processes and accountability checkpoints to make sure that you're either adjusting that plan if it's not working, or you're following through if it is and continuing to get yourself where you need to be. It says, if you have a desire to be a better leader, then broaden your thinking and work at seeing things from a larger perspective. If you're always working from behind, if you're always working from right now, if you never have a forecasted mind of this is where I want to go, this is where I see us going, then you really don't have, you're rowing the boat, right? And you're hoping that you end up where you're going instead of having an engine and, a compass and a navigation system to guide you where you want to go. You're just heave-hoeing that because you have no actual plan of guidance. What positive improvements can you make today based off your understanding of how you fit within your area, organization, market, and industry? So I challenge you over the next couple of days to do that. Sit down and map out, where do you fit within your organization or department? Where do you fit, right? As a coach, where do you fit within your brand, right? Maybe you're a part of this softball organization or that softball organization. So where do you fit within that brand, right? If you're an owner, where do you fit within your own company? What are you doing to improve and scale? Right? I've got one company that I own outright, another one that I own outright, and both of them have to work within different rules and parameters. Where do you live within that? Where do you live within your department or organization? How can you continue to level up your people and bring them to the next level? Where does your organization fit in the market? How are you doing well? Who are your competitors? What are your target market centers? How do you continue to guide through the navigational waters of increasing the bottom line, right? Increasing this while not decreasing that and creating leadership and deficiency gaps. Continually checking up on your people, continually checking up on the market, and knowing what the temperature is of the economy, knowing what the temperature is of the people around, what the ebbs and flows are. Here in Florida, we have to deal with, as a consumer base, we deal with people coming in, the snowbirds, and they leave in the summer and they come back in January, and then they're here for the spring, and all of that matters. And you have to understand what your market is and how you can better guide your business through these market ups and downs. And how is the market related to other industries and the economy? How are you doing? And who are you collaborating with, and who are you working with, and how is everything around you flowing together? So, look, man, we're going to continue this. We're going to keep it going. Tomorrow is be impressed, not impressive. So we'll talk about that. What are your leadership goals for 2024? How are you leading your company? How are you leading your team? How are you leveling up? How are you leveling up yourself? Are you getting your 60 minutes a day? Are you working on your team in that 60 minutes a day? Are you working on yourself? Are you working on your company every single day? Are you working on yourself? Because I will continue to preach. You have to be your best self in order to be an optimal leader. You have to be your best self in order to be an optimal owner, in order to be an optimal coach, in order to be an optimal mentor. You have to be your best self for all of this. And that starts with 60 minutes a day, whether you're reading and leveling up your company like I'm doing here and getting your skills up, whether you're working out and you're in the gym and you're getting more fit and leveling your body up, whether you're in the lab and working on your sport, or you're in your building and working on your craft and making your employees better, your mind, body, sport, everything that you do every single day has got to be geared towards leveling up, holding yourself accountable, getting yourself right in order to be able to trickle that down, because once you rise, everybody else around you has no choice but to rise, because it creates a gap, and people don't like gaps and they want to catch up to that gap. So there you go. That is today. That is the 13th and 14th of January. 2 lessons that we went over today. Control what's in you. Control what you're great at. Control what you can do right. Do not be reactive, and continue to push on your strengths. And then see the larger context. Have a long-range plan. What are we doing now? What are we doing 6 months from now? What are we doing, 5 years from now, a year from now? And continue to build and develop on that. Continue to take care of you. Continue to take care of that 60 minutes a day for your life, for your mind, for your body, for your soul, for everything that you have going on. Continue to level up. Continue to work. We're going to continue this leadership series. I will see you shortly. Tomorrow is a great Monday. We're looking forward to a positive, great week. We'll talk to you soon. I appreciate your time. Hoops out.